appetites, everything else, all his pleasures, worldly pleasures that he's to work on. These are klipas nega. Middle line, and he has to deal with it. That's also subduing his kafi and his habcha.
Okay, but the actual darkness, is that...
Darkness is something, in darkness is everything. This klipas nega has also a certain darkness because it has to be elevated. Otherwise it can fall into the wrong domain. That's the middle line, the neutral klipa element, a negative element. Then there's something which is even lower, below the line, that's gimel klipas hatmeis.
Okay, so the person's darkness is always from noga, it's never from...
Nega is called klipas nega, is the middle one, the middle territory, the buffer zone between sacred matters and impure matters, and that is one that can go either way. If a person, for example, uses it, utilizes the energy for Torah mitzvahs, so then he elevates it. As the Alter Rebbe discusses in Tanya, in Peirik Zayin, Ches, 7, 8.
It seems like a person has to go down into the darkness if he's going to come
He's
up.
eating. He's eating something which potentially could lower him down if he doesn't deal with it. But it's not as dark as a nisoyan, like a sin mamish. A sin which he has to do tshuva for it. He has to repent. Yeah, you want to ask something?
I'm not sure if this is the same question he asked, but why does his kafi and his chabcha have to do with the Yetzer Hara and not with worldly things?
Because the whole problem that we have from worldly things is because the Yetzer Hara introduces him to it. The instinct, the appealing to them, the attraction to them is that the Yetzer Hara is trying to get him to connect to these things. It's usually the Yetzer Hara that shows him the world, and that's why it says in Krishma, it's the heart and the eyes that attract a person. So then the Rebbe continues in the last 3 lines, before the sin of Eitz Hadas, although then there was already a level, and a unique level of Shechina godliness in this physical world through Avedas Adam Arishan, La'avda L'Shamra, Li'avda to work and L'Shamra to observe, which is basically positive mitzvahs and mitzvahs that are considered negative mitzvahs. I see, look at Order 13. The fact that in the beginning of the creation was already Ikar Shechina B'Tachtena, that means the world was created in a way that it should be prone that Ikar Shechina should be there. The world in itself was already custom made that they should be able to bring down the Shechina, to have the Shechina in there, the godliness. But the Hamshacha itself was done through the law of the L'Shamra. This was done through the service of Adam Arishan in Gan Eden.
Which Hamshacha was there already?
So he says, the Ikar Shechina, no, it was done through the Hamshacha. Betchilas Habriya, Ikar Shechina B'Tachtena Moisa, he says, Eilam Nivra Be'evan Sheyiyah Muchsher. It should have it should be prone to receive it. But the Hamshacha itself was through the process of Adam Arishan, of the L'Shamra.
So it wasn't there initially.
Not mamish there. There's these mashma from this Maimer from Eter, the Rebbe Rashab. Everything
is because of Adam Rishon.
Huh?
Everything is because of Adam Rishon.
Everything?
Yeah.
There's a lot of responsibilities he has on his hands. Yeah. Him and his wife.
And he never learned Hasidus, that's why.
Has a kind. The Rebbe says in a Sicha, in a Fabrengen, the Rebbe says in a Fabrengen a very interesting inyan that the Rebbe says, although there's no tape, so that he can say it, and this was in Chayisore Tovshin Tesvov, late 1954, and it's actually in the Tzemach Tzedek's Maimer and the Rebbe Rashav's Maimer. And that is that although we speak about the greatness of the Baal Shem Tov and the Rashbi, that they were walking in the cholos, everything, he says, Adam Arishan was created with the Eibishter's hands. Yitzir Kapav Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, standing on a higher level. Specific mitzad his, but you know how he was created. So he says, although the Tzemach Tzedek says it in the Maimer Neiratei Bolak, the Rebbe Rashab says it in the Maimer in Samaches Shavuos, the same in your mamish. That although there's Apela Dikamaisen.
Even this clothing, even Adam's clothing is
everything was mamish b'dei shamayim. Tzedach mamish b'dei shamayim. The Malachim will bring him roasted meat from Gan Eden. It's even an ander essen ganz. It's not like today people make cookhouse and eat a grill with a maisa. It's Bosser Tzli, Zayda Lashon. Mele by Mashenkin, but on the other hand, when it was the beginning of the creation, taking consideration Adam Rishon, Aveda, as I said, Shechelikus Milmaila, the Aveda then was to draw down godliness Milmaila. V'lei Aveda diskafi v'sapche. He wasn't yet up to the Aveda of Iskafi v'sapche, because before the sin of Adam Rishon, evil and good were separated. Adam Rishon accomplished through his thing that they both mixed together. That negative and positive mixed together. So that's when the Birurim started later. Iskafi v'sapche, Golus, Birurim, refining, taking out sparks, everything later.
Don't they say that before the sin, godliness was evident here?
Yeah, because
That was
b'pshitos.
because Shechina, no?
Right. Right, and it
So
says that Klippa is considered Shema Lepedi, it was like a peel protecting the fruit, protecting Kedusha. Then it became a menaged, it became an enemy, an opposition.
So he was doing Avodah before the sin.
He loved the Shamra, whatever he was there, it wasn't long. He was there, the 3 hours, whatever. And they'll see this. It says that if he would have fulfilled the Eibishter's commandment 3 hours, he would have been able to make Kiddush on that wine, according to the opinion that it was a tree, a vine, tree of knowledge. And it says the reason, because he couldn't hold himself in 3 hours, we are paying now 3 years of the mitzvah of Arla. That's what it says.
Well, he
The
would have
3
lived
years of
forever
not
also.
eating from the fruit,
He would
from a
have-
tree, a new tree.
He would have lived forever also.
All right, let's get alle miles. In general, the Rebbe would every year explain a chapter that corresponded that the Rebbe would concentrate on that year. So every year the Rebbe picked another chapter. In Tafshin Lamed 1970 was 20 years, so the Rebbe concluded the 20th chapter, which is the last chapter in the sequence of Maimorim, the series of Maimorim that the previous Rebbe released in before his Istalkus. So actually, the Rebbe is going to get to that, but first the Rebbe generally concentrates on the first few chapters, the basics, then the Rebbe jumps to 20. So in chapter Vav, Oz Vav, the Rebbe continues in 20. But this is all a warm-up and basically explaining the basics of the Inyan. As some Chassidim would say, that in the same sense that the Rabbeim had a maimed that they would say every few years to refine the atmosphere, they say by the Rebbe was Basi Ligani. So they said, Basi Ligani, the Rebbe didn't always say the same Inyan. So they said the first few Sifim, if you realize the Rebbe is constantly reiterating on them and adding insights every year when he discusses the first or second chapter from the Basi Ligani from 1950. And this discourse as the previous Rebbe delivered it. Actually, the discourse from the Frierdiker Rebbe was said in 1923. It was found in the 1980s. They found the two, I think it was 2 Maimorim instead of 4, that they found, and the Frierdiker Rebbe then it was broken down, for Yud Shevat, it was broken down into 4 different Maimorim. One was released for Yud Shevat. This was the Yortzeit of the Rebbetzin Rivke, the Frierdiker Rebbe's grandmother. One was released for Yud Gimel Shvat, the Yortzeit of the Frierdiker Rebbe's mother, the 13th of Shvat. Another one was supposed to come out, so these 2 came out together in one contrast. Another one was supposed to come out for Purim, actually was prepared. Another one for Beis Nisan, the Yortzeit Hilula of the Rebbe Rashab. So Mele, the other 2 already did not have beginnings or ends, because even the ones that the previous Rebbe said in 1923, so they started Vahi Be'etzem Hayim Hazeh, and then different Divrei Maskal. When it came out to Basi Ligani, they needed new beginnings. So the first 2 were prepared, but the next 2 were not prepared because they were figuring by Purim, they'll prepare it before. But came Yud Shevat, and the Istalkus took place. So the next 2, the Rebbe just released the following sifim, the following chapters without a beginning. Like for example, 14 and on, or 18 and on, and that's how the next 2 Maimorim were released. So, and then the Rebbe started to comment on it, to explain it. After 20 years, we were wondering what's going to be in 1971. I remember then, Mitzvah gekochten them. The Rebbe started again, Basi Ligani, started explaining new things on the chapter. And that's how the Rebbe went for the next 18 years. And that's when the Rebbe stopped.
So in 1950, only part of Basi Ligani was released?